Okay, now we've got a whole new project to work on, the Laundromat project. So what is this, Tim? How do you get started in this whole idea? Well, I'll tell you what. You've seen my videos about the Tales from the Landlord series, and I went through how what's involved in making rental properties and running them and all the problems you find along the way. Well, this is a similar video series for my latest project, which is building a laundromat. So, oh, that's nice, Tim. You want to build a laundromat, create a public service, help a lot of people in the community. No, it's all about MMM, mo money for me. It's that simple. I looked at the idea, done my research. Can I get paid? Yeah. Is it worth the trouble it'll take to do it? Yeah. All right, then. There you go. Let's work on this. Lux report. Hi, how you doing? I see you up there. First one in the comments. Anyhow, when I made the Tales from a Landlord video series, I tried to make a bunch of short videos. I had like 16 of them in that series. In this, I'm going to try to make fewer videos. Each one is longer. So, pause the tape right now, go to the bathroom, get something to drink, and come back and watch it because each one I'll be talking more in. I'm talking so much. These are all my notes I wrote down for this, the first episode in this whole laundromat project video. So, as far back as 2014, that was the last time I used a laundromat. Haven't really ever even thought about them ever since until this past January. I had recently finished up working on one of my rental properties. I got the units rented. Okay, that job is done. We can relax now. People are in there, they're paying me, and everything's good. Now, a month or two later, people moved out of one of the units, and I had to clean and rebuild that, which led to the whole Tales from a Landlord series. But I was already used to that, so not a big deal at this point. So now, I was driving down the street, an area I go through quite a bit, and it's mid-January of this year, and I'm just thinking about, oh, whatever, okay. Oh, wait a minute. A big yellow and red sign. Laundromat. What? That's new. I never saw that there before. Why would they put a laundromat here? There's no parking. People in this area have a little bit of money, so people don't need to go to a laundromat. Why would you put one here? That's so stupid. Well, I don't know. It's still in business. From what I was able to find out, the guy who has the place owns the building, which is a multi-unit, so he doesn't have to make a huge amount of money. I guess he just has to make enough to pay for everything and make it worth his while. But I was thinking about that. Laundromat. What about a laundromat? I see them around here and there. Never give them any thought. Let's look into this. I'm at work. I have a nice quiet 8-hour shift for the most part doing computer work. I have plenty of time to get on my own laptop and do my YouTube and whatever Google research. So, okay. I started looking into the whole idea. Laundromat. Do I want to make a laundromat? Can I make one? Where is there a good place for one? Because here's the thing with laundromats compared to other places like rental properties. You could have 10 houses on one street, and somebody else has 10 houses on that same street, and a third person owns 10 houses on that same street, and you each have rental units and you're renting out your apartments. And it's totally fine. One doesn't affect the other. People need an apartment, you have an apartment, there you go. But laundromats, like car washes, you can't have 5 of them in the same city block because one would hurt the other if they're too close together. You have to have them a few miles apart at least, and in areas where people don't have a washer and dryer at home. Don't go to a big fancy rich area where people can afford a washer and dryer because they'll never come to your business. They won't need it. So, okay, I'm thinking about this, doing my research. I knew of an area that had a lot of the let's see, how can I sell this without violating the YouTube terms of service or upsetting all the liberals here too much? Had the right kind of customer base. Single parent households, excess number of kids, above average amount of crime and drugs, very low income area. Yeah, I know where there's one of those. And so I go on Google. Okay, Google, where are the laundromats in my area? And as luck would have it, this area was kind of a dead zone, kind of a void. There were no active laundromats in this area of maybe 3 square miles or so. There were laundromats around it in different directions, a few miles that way, a few miles that way, across the bridge, down the river, whatever. But there weren't any laundromats in this area. And so, hey, I bet these people would like to have a laundromat here in town without having to drive way over there or there to there to do it. So I got in the car and I just spent some of my time off just driving around all the streets in this area, looking around, and I did find 2 old laundromats in the area that were both closed down and in really bad shape. And one of those laundromats we're going to have more stories about later on because it is becoming an issue, but about what's being done in that place now. But that's another story. So I'm looking around. Okay, they could use a laundromat here. It would be worth the time to look into this more. But now, let's see. Let me start looking at my list here because I have a lot of stuff to go over in this video. Research. Well, I've already been doing that. I got plenty of time at work to do my research. Reading, YouTube, Google, going to the manufacturers' websites for their laundry equipment, looking at their data sheets, the specs on all these machines, looking at my local population, the customer base. I've done that already. Okay, so this is an area where a laundromat might be a good idea. All right, so we have a place to put one. Now, oh boy, locations. This became a real issue real quick. One of the things about a laundromat is, for most of them, they use the washing machines are bolted down to the floor. You have to have a cement slab floor. You can't put them on a wood floor over a basement. If you have the small, like the same kind of washing machine you have at home, put the lid up and put your stuff in there, or the more expensive soft mount machines, they could go on a wood floor, but probably not the best idea to have if you have too many of them. So long story short, I need a building with a cement slab floor and no basement underneath it. So right there, my available choices for a location have been chopped down a lot. I would be going through a couple of the streets in the town where a lot of businesses were and where there were a lot of empty storefronts. And a few places would have been a good choice. But you look in the window, is that a wood floor over a basement? Disqualified. Doesn't matter how great the rest of the building is, how cheap it is. It ain't a slab floor, can't use it. And I got down to maybe 3 or 4 possible locations that could even be considered. Now, my first one was in an old shopping center right in the middle of town. 300-car parking lot. The place is wide open. That'd be great. Yeah, until I finally talked to the leasing agent and got through to the owner. First, they said, oh, $10 a square foot to rent the place. Yeah, okay, that doesn't sound too bad. And for those of you who don't know, $10 a square foot means per year. If it's a 1,000 square foot lot and you're paying 10 a square foot, that means $10,000 a year is your rent. Divided by 12 is something like $875 a month is your rent. That's how that works. But they finally got back to me. Oh yeah, they want $23 a square foot. And your rent is tied to the consumer price index. So if the whole thing goes up or down, your rent goes up or down with it. And they're going to pull out the HVAC and you have to install your own HVAC. I said, oh, sounds like they don't want to rent this place. Pause for a moment here. My camera's getting all blurry on me. I'm looking at my screen right behind the camera, and I was getting all blurry. Yeah, so well, for this amount of money, I guess I don't want to rent it because this sounds awfully expensive, and spending money is not the way to make money. So, well, spending this kind of money. So, okay, they want too much for it, and I would have to do too much work. and it's not worth it. So as much as I hated to lose that good location with a huge parking lot, couldn't do any more with it. Another choice used to be a small retail store. It was like 8,000 square feet, of which I would have needed maybe 2,000 square feet. And they wanted like $3,500 a month to rent the place. Well, that's way too much money, you know. Say, well, will the owner subdivide it to me? No, he will not subdivide it. You have to rent the whole thing or nothing at all. Well, that's no good because the whole point of making building a laundromat is to make money, not to see how much I can give away and rent to everyone every month. And it's some owner, yeah, probably some fat middle-aged white guy with a great big cigar, sitting out in a country club golf course, smoking a cigar, and he's getting my money for what? For nothing. That was my envisionment of the whole thing. So, well, he wouldn't subdivide it. So, okay, well, fine. I got to thinking about it. Okay, well, how about this? Separate 2,000 square feet for the laundromat, and then I have 6,000 square feet of a huge empty store to do things with. Okay, how about this? How about if I rent out that other area to people who want to store things in there? People make a lot of money with these whole rental things, storage places. No, you can't do that here. This area is zoned C2 commercial. And in a C2 commercial in this town, it has to be retail space. I'm like, have you seen what town you're in? Nobody cares. And even if I did do all this, nobody in their right mind is going to set up a retail store in the back of a building on a side street in this town. Oh, well, yeah. 40% of the space has to be retail, and they can rent the other 60% for their storage. Oh, man. And this is a town that is making big announcements about, and we want to bring more businesses to this town. Really? Well, you sure are doing all you can to stop me from doing it here. And then let's see what else here. I went down one part that actually was the least amount of trouble was talking to the code and zoning people in the place. Said, hey, I'm looking at putting a laundromat in here. Is this area zoned for it? Can it be used for that type of business? And all the places that were at the top of my list, yes, no problem. Okay, so that wasn't a big deal. Oh yeah, but you have to get approved with the city engineer, and you have to have architects' blueprints drawn up, which can be thousands of dollars. What do you need architects' blueprints for? I'll make you a picture in Microsoft Paint, almost as good and a whole lot cheaper. Oh no, it's gotta be official city engineer, blueprint, architect, drawing, whatever, certified. I don't even know. Oh. So that expense is still on its way. But I finally went with one location. It's a good location in town. The parking is not all that great, but I didn't have much to pick from, left in the town. I looked at one other place, an old laundromat a few blocks away. I looked at it as far back as February, and this place was junk. It was buildings that are built right next to each other in town. The building on one side collapsed. The building on the other side had the white square sign with the red X on it, meaning the firemen will not go in. It's in such bad shape. And the remaining building in the middle still standing used to be a laundromat, and it's been shut down for I don't even know how many years. I talked to a few people on the street in the area and said, yeah, it's been closed down. This guy over there, he owns a place, and you can see on the sides of the building, the wood is all rotted. It's tilting in the back. Even if you did rebuild it, who would inspect this place and pass it? So that was eliminated early on as a possible location. And part of it is a wood floor, too. There's a slab in the back, but the whole front half is wood. So, no good. I don't know what they had in there before. So, okay, now I finally, after all this time, I found a couple of locations I can use. Now, ain't no one going to build a laundromat for free. You need money. So, all right, well, this is a big enough project. It's going to take like a small business administration. How about a small business loan, huh? Okay, this is a legitimate cause for that. So I went to my local bank and I said, well, this bank doesn't do a lot of SBA stuff. You have to go over to Huntington Bank. They do a lot of small business loans. Yeah, well, we'll see. I looked them up, and yeah, their numbers, Huntington Bank's numbers for small business loans were way higher than any other bank on the list. So, all right, got to go see Huntington Bank and talk to them. And oh boy, this became the biggest headache you can ever imagine. Through February, through March, through April, now we're in mid-August. And I finally got told the official final no on the whole loan process, but all the steps I had to go through on this. First, they have you do some stupid Operation Hope, like a training course on your laptop. I just kind of went through it all. Whatever. Fine, here, it's all done, whatever. That took a few days of work to do that. And then, okay, we need to say like your 2 years of your tax refunds and your pay stubs and your monthly expenses, and do you own a car, and what are your sources of income, and all these things you have to fill out and make copies of and scan things and email in all these tons of papers and old forms and things. Oh, I hate doing that. Went through all that, and oh yeah, well, we're looking at it here and we're going to approve it. And the small business loan underwriter kicked it back because this problem, that problem, whatever. Oh, you got to have a down payment. Oh, that was a problem I thought I had solved, because my credit card had been for years say, hey, you can borrow money. I have like a personal loan here. Okay, I'll get the money. I never needed it. So fine, okay, here, I'll get the money. Here's the money. Put the money in their bank account. Okay, here's your money for your down payment. Where'd you get this money from? Who cares? You wanted money, there's money. Oh, well, if it came from a loan, we can't use loan funds as, as legitimate, valid funds for a down payment. I looked that up. That's actually true. I looked it up under a real estate, and like for a mortgage in a house, you can't use loan proceeds as your down payment. So, oh boy, it became a whole hassle. I had my money in cryptocurrency. Well, how did the money get into the cryptocurrency? Well, you buy low and you sell high, then you have more money. Oh yeah, but how does cryptocurrency work? How I see you work at a bank. I know a lot of bankers don't know about finance, about cryptocurrency, but talking to these people about crypto coins and stuff. Well, okay, I have money here, I got money there, I got this, I got that, I got my paycheck, I got my rental property income, my wife has her paycheck, rental property income. I get here's my bills, here's how much is left, it's we're all good here, it's no problem. Oh, it's got to be verified funds, so we have to see your paychecks, because my paychecks are going to my bank. Now we need to have verified funds. So that was set me back like 2 months right there. Verified funds. Okay, well, I'll take that money that I got from a loan, I'll put it elsewhere, and I'll live off that money for a while, and I'll change all my direct deposits over here. Fine, here's your money. You want to see where my money comes from? Here's my paycheck coming into your bank account. Here's my rental payments coming into your bank account. So you can see the verified funds for everything. And so, well, I'll keep this part short because it just goes on and on for months. And oh yeah, he needs this form. He needs the underwriter needs that form. Hey, what about this? Here's this question. So finally, this past Monday, I got a solid answer. No. And you know why? Here's a stupid reason. Last year, I was working at a data center doing computer work, and the paycheck was not very good. That was what I had. But that paycheck and that amount of money I was earning was on the income tax refund for the year. And now I got the job I'm at now. I make a lot more money doing a similar job. Actually do less work most days. But and there's been times throughout this year they would want me to send in your last 2 pay stubs. It happened a couple of times. Here's the money I'm making. We've got more rental units now, so I've got more money coming in. But what the bank guy tells me, the SBA underwriter, oh, well, he has to go off of your tax refund for last year and the amount of money you were making then. That's what they base your whole debt to income ratio on. And with those numbers, it's no good. Yeah, but that was last year. I've been making a lot more money ever since, and all year you've seen that in multiple pay stubs. Oh, well, they can't use pay stubs. They have to use your tax refund. So, okay, so you're telling me I have to wait until next March, 7 months away, to get that tax refund to show you the money I'm making now for this. Yeah. Just like these towns who claim they want businesses to come in, like the bank wants to make SBA loans. If you know how the banking system works, it's not like they're taking money out of their pocket. They create a debt in their banking system, and you're paying that back. So it's not like it's hurting them or anything, but you would sure think it is the way they act about the whole thing. So, all right, despite the fact that I'm making good money now, that money doesn't count until next tax refund, because that's the only way the SBA underwriter can count your money, not from a pay stub. Well, I didn't tell them that in the intervening last couple of months, I went to the person I know who owner financed my second rental property, and they were able to give me the financing for this. So the money's taken care of, and I can move along with my project. It's enough money to get it done, not a huge amount, because if you borrow more, you get to pay more back. So I figured, okay, I can get by on this amount of money, and that'll get the job done. So financing is in place, but boy, what a headache trying to go through a bank to get it. They made it as hard as they possibly could for months. Oh, well, we don't know. We got to check. Oh, yeah. Don't even get me started on the whole money and politics and Democrats and spending and all that stuff. Okay, anyhow, let me get past the financing section here. Now, on to equipment. Okay, what do you need in a laundromat? You need washers, dryers, a decent water heater, not one from Lowe's. You have the place all set up right. You have proper ventilation for the dryers. You have to have a water line coming in that can feed the place, sewage draining and everything. I really enjoyed learning all the technical aspects of a laundromat. What makes a good one? What are problems that bad ones have? A lot of YouTube videos, a lot of research, a lot of learning. I enjoy this kind of stuff, getting into all that good tech details. And I went to about 20 or so different laundromats all around the Pittsburgh area. And once you go in there and you're really looking at the place to really see how that place is put together, you learn a lot of things. And I saw some really bad ones, and I saw some really good ones too, and a lot of in between. And I compare, okay, this is over here, the dryer's exhaust is going over there, the water heater's down there. Okay, where's the water meter, right? Can I see what size the pipe is in this place? And you need a good 2-inch water line coming in would be about ideal. Your average residential house is a 3/4-inch water line. And if you look up the charts, how much flow through how much of a size of pipe and how much pressure, it goes up real fast with the size. But I got to go around and see a lot of things and figure this out. And one laundromat I went to was one I knew of from way back in the very early 2000s. Was the last time I was ever even in the place. Back then I was doing my, computer repair on the side for myself, and I would go around and put up, messages on billboards and businesses and things. And I happened to go into this place once or twice and put up a sign on their billboard for it. Well, anyhow, I went into this place back in about March of this year, and the place is run down. It hasn't been taken care of. The change machine's got red lights on it, so they're not even putting money in the change machine. People have written notes and left on the table. People have written things on the dryers because they're not working right. And I said, okay, well, apparently he's going to come back here and do things with it here. And over the next couple of weeks, I went back in like a week later, 2 weeks later, 2 weeks later. The change machine was still blinking red. It was never filled up. The place was a mess. I looked at some of the equipment. I was learning enough about the equipment to see a lot of this equipment needed repairs. Mainly the washing machines, but the dryers too. And oh boy, okay, well, you know what? Obviously, this guy is not taking care of the equipment. Apparently, he doesn't care about it. So maybe now that I have my financing in place at about the same time, maybe I can make a deal with him to buy his equipment and use that to build my laundromat. I had two choices: buy this equipment cheap and repair it all myself, which I didn't want to do, or pay 3 times the price for equipment that was already rebuilt, which I didn't want to do. But this is the way to do it and save a lot of money. Now I'm kind of playing a game here at the same time, because when I started talking to him about, hey, maybe I want to buy out your laundromat here and buy all your equipment. At that time, I had no idea where the money was coming from. I was still waiting on Huntington Bank to quit screwing around. I hadn't even talked to the other person about them financing me yet. And so I'm talking to him like I'm some kind of a player, and yeah, I got money here, and I'm buying businesses and things like that. It was a good feeling to be going to be talking on that level, but yeah, well, he was thinking about it. I was thinking about it. Well, I have to go with her here. I have to come in here and look for all your machines here and write down the model numbers and serial numbers and look them up online and get all the details. And yeah, a lot of the machines needed work. Most of it was general basic maintenance. The bigger washing machines needed big jobs done on them. And I'm doing that right now, and we're going to have videos about that coming up. So eventually, I've got a source of funding. And then I talked to the guy. I said, okay, I'm going to give you this much money for all this stuff. Okay. And like 2 days, oh, well, I don't know. I think my wife said we need to get some more money for it than that. And so I'm going to try to jack the price on me here a little bit. All right, fine. Go from this much money to this much. And, oh, well, this, I don't know, maybe another 1,000 or so. And I was like, oh. The big advantage of this equipment was that these washing machines ran on single phase power. Older machines like that, a lot of it is 3-phase power. And I could have gotten the place set up, but it's a whole extra expense to have all the wiring put in for 3-phase. I wanted to stick with single phase equipment, which this stuff was. It was the right sizes, the right variety. He knew something about how to use the right size machines in a laundromat. So I had a good starting point by getting this particular batch of equipment. So let me pause a minute here. Lex has a couple of questions for me. Let's see here, Lex. Now car washes around here, some big companies putting in huge multi-million-dollar places. Car washes in this area are dead. You'd be out of your mind to buy a car wash in this area. What kind of experience? Well, ATV, maybe some phone chargers. I want to put like a 4x8 sheet of plywood against a wall and get the kind of paint you paint it with to make it into a chalkboard. And get some cheap chalk at the dollar store and say, hey, kids, you can draw this thing here. That keeps the kids happy, keeps them quiet, makes the parents want to come back to my place because the kids will be over there playing with a chalkboard and watching cartoons on the TV. It's better for the parents then. And they put the money in the machines, and I get the money out of the machines, and you see how that part works. Complimentary Wi-Fi? Maybe. We'll see. Hey, Bowser, how you doing? I haven't seen you for a while. How long will it take to make your money back? Well, for the amount of money I have borrowed versus the realistic amount of income I may have, I would say the place could pay for itself in maybe 1 to 2 years. This is an extra source of money. Well, I don't need income from this to live on. I have my job. My wife has her job. We have the rental properties. We're living off all that. This is an extra thing. And once it's paid for itself, then it's mo money on top. And mo money is mo money. Okay, I was just answering my chat comments here. All right, let me think. Where was I? Yeah, getting the equipment. So I finally had to get the equipment, and I had to arrange with this guy's handyman to transport it all, because this is some of these machines. Some of them are 500, 600, 700 pounds a piece for some of the bigger machines. And so that cost me like $1,700 to have all the stuff hauled over to what would eventually be my location. Oh yeah, I kind of skipped that. The location I finally settled on, it had been empty for like 15 years, but it had that cement slab floor that I needed. And there was no basement, and I looked all over this place. This building was built back in the old days of close to 100 years ago, when it didn't have codes and things were just put anywhere, like for the gas lines and power and water pipes and all that stuff. So I've got things pretty well figured out now. But the guy who had the place, the room was full of old junk, like doors and windows and paint cans and all kind of random stuff in the place. And for over 2 months, I'm waiting to him. Okay, are you going to get me a lease? Are you going to clear this room out? And you want to make some money off this thing? What's going on here? I was ready to go somewhere else because he was just not getting anything done, and I was so frustrated with him. He was gonna charge me a certain amount of rent. I said, well, I think it needs to be this much amount of rent. So I got the rent down a few $100, so that was good for me. And he's even very generously offered whatever money you spend to put the power in, to put the water in, to put the HVAC in, you can deduct that from the rent. I said, well, great, I'll do that, no problem. Yeah, I have named the laundromat, but I don't think I'm going to announce the name because I don't think I want to say where it is. I don't want people coming into the place. I'm not going to get a pinball machine, Mortal Kombat arcade in this place. It's going to be pretty simple. There's enough room in there. I've got 1,100 square feet to work with, which is enough, but not any great excess of room. I have to be efficient in where I put all the machines and things because the dryers should go against this one outside wall. The washing machines can go in the middle, and there's a load-bearing wall down the middle, and I can't move that. I have to work around the load-bearing wall in the middle. Fortunately, it's open 2x4s, so I can run my pipes through the wall to get to the main, supply and drain lines. So a lot of things I have to take into consideration and figure for, and it all has to come together. They're putting a new roof on the place right now. Then we have to do all the drywall in the room. And then all the power, then all the gas lines and all the water. And I have a guy who wants to do the plumbing, but he sure has a problem with answering his phone and returning a call. Well, if you want to make money, you better get on the ball here. I'm not going to wait 3 weeks for you to decide to call me back. I'm not them to work like that. You call, you talk to me. I want to talk to you today. I don't even want to leave a message. Pick up your phone when I call. I ain't got time for this. Playtime laundry. Well, I've already got it named, but I'm not going to announce it. No, there will not be any employees in the place. It'll be unattended. I'll have security cameras in the place. I'll be able to watch from a phone or a tablet computer or something. I've seen other places that do that. One thing I will add in the description here, I have been looking at several different YouTube channels that focus on laundromats. And I'll put their links and names in the description here, so look down there for that. I've done a lot of time reading, learning, and researching, watching old videos from years ago. No restrooms. Well, actually, Lex, that was a problem. There is a small restroom in one corner. It's like 4 feet by 6 feet. It's real small. I was just going to lock the door and say, no, there's no customer accessible restroom here, and let it go at that. Well, the engineer came in, who was making the blueprints. Oh, no, the current laws and codes are you have to have an ADA compliant bathroom. Yeah, ADA, anything ADA expensive. Yeah, it's going to have to be 8 feet wide or thereabouts. And I have to have a 5-foot turning radius in the middle for someone in a wheelchair and a 5-foot by 5-foot square outside the door where you can't have anything. And inside your front door, a 5-foot by 5-foot square for someone to drive their wheelchair in. I can't put a dryers up to the door. I have to stay back a few feet because I'll violate the 5x5 ADA compliance thing. Rebuilding a rental duplex is easy compared to this whole, laundromat small business thing. You got to jump through all kind of hoops and ADA and code and this and that and make it so people want to come to your business. All right, let me check my list here for a moment. Let's see. I'm going to forget. I know I'll forget something. I always do. I want to talk about here. So let's review equipment. Yeah, so now at this point, the room has been cleared out. The guy who owns the building is putting a new roof on over my part. Then he'll put a roof on his part too after that. All of the equipment, all the washers and dryers and things are in the room. And I am working on doing the biggest rebuilding jobs on the washing machines right now. And that's going pretty well. I've had plenty of time to read and research, and I knew what to expect going into it. When some things are rusted and corroded in place, though, that can make an easy job a lot harder. But I've been getting through that. I've done automotive work for many years. I've also found some training videos from manufacturers and they would be giving a class on how to repair their equipment. And this would be like 1 or 2 hour long videos. Hey, I got time at work. I'll sit back, I'll watch the video and figure out how it all works. And there you go. Let me see. Let me scroll down. Keep it spick and span. Yes, you're right about that, Lex. I do have to keep it clean. And from what I've seen in a lot of the laundromat videos I watch, people make a huge mess, dryer sheets all over the place, and they put empty soap bottles not in the garbage cans, and the soap's running all down on the side of the machine. It gets dry there, then it's real hard to get it off. And I'm not gonna. I have one change machine now. I'm gonna get another one. I have a couple of soap dispensers. One of them, I took two out of the laundromat that I got the machines from. Took them apart, cleaned them all out, rebuilt them, changed the dollar amounts in the coin slide things to make it $1 a piece for everything. And I repainted one because it was the most ugly tan color you could ever imagine. Let's see. See that? I move my finger. That manila folder right there, and you see that lampshade? It's some ugly color in between those two. And I said, no, I am repainting this thing. So I sanded it all down. I sanded the words out the front. Went to Lowe's, got a can of Rust-Oleum, went out in the front yard and put several light coats of bright white paint on it, and it looks a lot better now. I'm not going to have an ATM in the place. What's this here? He would never do that, Lex. AC3. He's not going to come to Pittsburgh in the first place. And the grand opening is not going to be ready in time. I figure it this way. If the place is open by Halloween, that'll be a miracle. That was my goal. And who knows? If it's open by Halloween, I'll consider myself lucky. Do I miss beige computers? Not really. The beige computers are just that color that makes you feel sick just to look at it, And when they get old, they fade to an even worse color. And any computer that color, it's weak and slow, and a 20 gigabyte hard drive was huge in those days. Yeah. So where are we at here in our first episode talking about the laundromat? I've been trying to read and watch and learn and figure things out, and it's been I really enjoy the learning process and the whole challenge of figuring out how to make it work and how to fix the machines and the location and all the utilities for the place and the codes. And so it's a lot of stupid stuff has come up in the process, a lot of stupid rules and regulations and this and that, and but it's all part of the process. Rebuilding a house now would be boring in comparison because it would be so easy. You get a house that doesn't have any mold and doesn't have a real major repair that needs to be done. You're just cleaning and painting it. Well, this is no big deal anymore. A bulletin board, Lex. Yeah, that's a good idea. I could put one up somewhere. That won't be any problem. I'm going to have to be sure to very well secure the change machines because I'm sure people will try to come in and get the money out. They'll be locked down and put into a wall pretty securely, and cameras will be watching it. And I'll have signs all around, and you have to put up. I'll have my whole. I was going to put up a wall of all the disclaimer signs and say, this is the legal wall, or all the legal BS or whatever, all the legal disclaimer BS on the wall above the signs. And it says, well, if you put something like plastic or rubber in the dryers against it, set on the sign, don't do that. And you melt it and you call me, I'm gonna sue you. You wrecked my stuff. So, well, here's your picture of the signs over there. So you go ahead and get a lawyer, and I'll come to court with my picture of the sign. I said not to do it, and then case dismissed. How does a customer contact me, Lex? Well, here's the thing. I don't want to get an extra phone because that costs more money. So I want to find out, can I have a second phone number ring to my phone? And probably I might have to pay for 2 accounts then, but I'll do that. I might have a Facebook page for it, something like that. And like that. That's one of my lesser concerns at this point. I have to get the place up and running first. Wow, we're 39 minutes in this thing already. Wow. Oh, is anyone still watching except for Lex here and Bowser? And thanks for parking lot. Well, it's on-street parking in this area. And right behind this building is another business. And I already, like one of the first days, he came out, well, you can't park in this lot. This is our lot. I see a sign up there. Yeah, there's some really old 50-year-old sign up there. Who knows if it's even valid anymore? Nobody would think that it's a current sign for this business here. It's an old sign that never got taken down from 40 years ago. Oh, yeah, I'm going to go back to the businesses and tell them, you should consider putting up some new signs that says no laundromat parking here, because people aren't going to know. There's enough side streets in the area. They can park over there and roll their garbage bags full of clothes across the street and come in and wash the clothes and all that. I've been in some laundromats in other low income areas, to put it nicely, and they'll unload their, they got money for their big Cadillac Escalade, but they're going to the laundromat, renters, Section 8, I'm sure. Yeah, they're coming in like, 6 big garbage bags full of clothes, and they're filling up machines and doing all that. They get their clothes washed. I've learned a lot too about the what machines to have, what machines not to have. Let's see, how can I explain this to people who don't know anything about laundromats? They rate machines by pounds, 20-pound, 30, 40, 60, 80-pound machines. Your average home washing machine is around 14 to 15 pounds. They might say, like a 3-load machine, meaning 3 laundry baskets. And that would be a 30-pound machine, or a 4-load machine, 40 pounds, and 4 laundry baskets worth. But how many garbage bags full of clothes fit in a laundry basket? But one thing I've noticed in a lot of laundromats, they have way too many of the small machines. I've seen people go in there and fill up 4 little machines and pay the money for 4 machines, when if they just use one of the big ones, they could have done it with 1 or 2 big ones and save money. So I'm going to be having more of the bigger machines in the place and less of the smaller ones. I'll have a few small ones in there just because I already have them. Make sure I have security when collecting money. Well, one good thing about that is I have a very varied schedule. No one's going to know what day or what time of day I'm in there. I'll go in, get my thing, get out of there. So I'll be watching for that, and the cameras will be on, and I'll have signs up too. Yeah. Now he calls when I'm in the middle of making a video. I called him like 3 hours ago. Give me a call back. Any commercial grade washers? Well, your typical laundromat machines, 20, 40, 60-pound machines. Not the really huge ones. That's a lot more money, and you need to have more than a 36-inch wide door to get those things in the building. So rugs, these are signs I've seen in laundromats. Rugs, horse blankets. I guess horse blankets are a big thing for some reason. I don't know. Yeah, big load machines. Yeah, definitely. 60-pounders are my big machines, or 60-pounders. So a lot of things to consider, not just putting machines into place, the right kind, the right size. What is your customer base? They're washing clothes for 5 screaming kids in a single-parent household down in the hood. There are certain things, yes, most of them are front loaders. Certain things I can't say. You have to hear between the lines and figure out what I'm, not saying here, as to the demographics involved. So I was just going to mention something. You had me thinking about it. What was it? Soap dispensers, change machines, the right kind of washers and dryers in the place. All the science of getting the dryers set up to work properly. You don't just have a dryer there with the exhaust pipe blowing out the window, because they draw in a lot of air to heat and dry and exhaust. So you don't want the dryers pulling in the heated or air-conditioned air from the laundromat and blowing it out the window. You have a separate air inlet for the dryers. Now you look at a laundromat. Why do the dryers always have that wall right above the dryers that goes to the ceiling, and the dryers are sealed off on the sides? because they don't want the air from the room getting in the dryer to be blown out the window. They take in their own air and loop it through and blow it right back out. That's their own separate environment behind the dryers. Yeah, a lot of tech details. I was in a laundromat recently where they didn't have that. It was just taking air right from the room and blowing it out. So, well, you don't know what you're doing. What is this over here? Well, around here, there's not much money to be made on candy and toy dispensers and stuff, and I would have to deal with it. The laundromat that I bought all the equipment from, they had a Pepsi machine there. Well, not only was this Pepsi machine filthy and dirty and a wreck, I just didn't want to deal with a pop machine in the first place. So, yeah, I left that. So you can have that. And as far as fixing a washing machine, you might think it's really big and scary and intimidating, but no, not really. You have to think about it a little bit. Look at the parts. There's a couple of computer boards in there, and then what are the mechanical parts? You got your motor, the whole part, the big drum that spins and everything. That's not that bad. I've built engines for my old cars. I've built automatic transmissions. There's a lot more work involved in rebuilding a 440 than there is in building a 60-pound washing machine. A lot of parts have to be put in the right place and done just right, and the clearances and tightness and torque and everything. A washing machine, yeah, you have to learn a few things. I had to go out and go to Harbor Freight and buy a few extra tools, which I hated because I'm going to use this tool for 2 weeks on this one job, and I'll never need it again, and it's spending money and big waste of money because what am I going to do with it when it was all done? Well, certain tools I needed to get, and it's just part of the whole process. I'm saving the receipts. I got my pile of receipts right over here. Look at this. This is a pile of receipts for things purchased for the laundromat. And when it comes tax time, yeah, deductions. I've already got my LLC all set up. Local business is not a problem. I saw Lex mention that. Losing weight, yes, I am down a few pounds. The last couple of weeks I came back up like 3 or 4 pounds. I'm really hyper about that. I said, no, we want to keep the weight going down, losing weight here. I ain't doing this again, Trying to keep the weight down. No, sit more in here when the weight's coming off. Look at my videos from a year ago and compare this. You'll see the difference. So anyhow, I'm rambling on. We're an hour, 47 minutes here. If you're still watching, wow, you must be having a really boring day. Or you're at work or something watching. Anyhow, this is the first video of my laundromat series. What am I going through? What is my current project? All the obstacles that have been thrown in my way to make this as hard as possible to get the place even opened, and get everything in place and working for it. All right, I think that's enough for this video. I'm gonna turn the camera off here in a minute. And Lex, this is the video I was talking about that I wanted to do first. So we'll have something to talk about if you want to do another video. The birds, where's Beaker? Beaker and Bowie are out in the other room. I kept them out in the other room. I'm gonna put links in the description for a few other YouTube channels that I've watched, specifically for gaining intelligence on laundromat operations and all the little tech details of it. When you start learning about laundromats, there's a lot to learn, You don't just put a few machines in a room and say, here, go wash your clothes. You can, but if you want maximum profits and more money for me, you got to do it right. You got to have that place tuned. What do my customers want? What will make them happy? What will make them come to me and give me money? More of a whole business thing, and it's not all just about me. I have to make customers happy. When you have a rental property, so you saw the place, you signed the lease, you're here for a year, whatever. Kind of have customers, or they have a choice to go elsewhere. Say, oh well, no, I have to do a little more butt kissing here to keep them coming to me. Yes, you're right, Lex. Keep the bathroom clean. I think that's going to be a big problem. People go in there doing their drugs and stuff and making a mess of the place because they don't care, because it ain't their laundromat. So I'm sure there'll be a lot to say about cleaning the place and keeping it clean and see if it stays clean a day later. All right, we're at 49 minutes. I'm going to stop this right now. And, There's a Bart Simpson up there too. Thanks, Bart. All right. What's his Bowser? Is this all just a dirty money laundering scheme? No, it's an actual business. I'll provide the ability to do something, and customers will come to me and use my stuff to do their thing for themselves. They get clean clothes, I get money. Any rewards program? No. A lot of laundromats these days, they have this whole system where you put money on a card or use your credit card and scan the card in the machine. I'm not doing that because then that becomes, it's all recorded and stuff. And so I'm going to stick with a good old fashioned coin operated thing and let it go at that. Have a couple of coin changers into place, a couple of soap dispensers into place, and I'll learn as I go. I'm sure there's a lot of things I don't have figured out yet. Laptop repair? No, I'm not going to be in there most of the time. I'll come in a couple days a week, attend to things, collect the money, fill the machines, clean the place probably. I'm already in the area pretty regular for other things, for the rental properties and such. So I don't think it'll be a huge disruption to go here, a few times a week. If it was my only thing, drive 15 miles or whatever to go out to this one place a few times a week, I would be less likely to do it. But I'm already coming through the area more or less on a regular basis anyhow, so it's not that terrible. All right, I think that's all for this episode. Now we're 51 minutes here, and the timer is just running. So thanks for watching this, and we'll see if anyone. I'll have to watch the analytics and see if anyone else makes it through the whole video or not. All right, it's something you can watch at work while you're busy, and there's noise in the background, I guess. But that's the first episode of the Laundromat project. In the next episode, I already have filmed video of me doing some of the actual repairs on the machines. And I'm doing the biggest, hardest part of the repair jobs first. Then that's out of the way. And there's, change other parts that have to be done, but that's all little things in comparison to the big part that I'm doing right now. So hopefully, repair-wise, it's all downhill from here. We'll see. All right, that's all for this episode. I'm going to stop the video. I have to hit end broadcast twice to make it stop. Okay, ready? All right. See you in the next episode.